In Italy, someone once got fined 4,800 for accepting the wrong type of receipt. Not because they evaded taxes, not because they were a criminal, but because they didn't ask the right question at the bar counter. And that's where we begin. If you're living in Italy or thinking about moving here, and you're not sure what is the difference between a Scontrino, Fattura, Ricevuta Fiscale, let's get straight into it. So, if you are in Italy and you're about to buy a coffee, a shirt, a pair of handmade leather shoes, you usually get a thing named Scontrino. It's that narrow strip of thermal paper that we all crumple up and throw in your pocket. But here's a twist. That Scontrino is not always enough. The Scontrino Fiscale is the most basic type of tax receipt after the payment. It's printed from a registered cash register, the registratore di cassa, and it confirms that the transaction has been recorded for tax purposes. But here's the catch. It works perfectly if you are a private consumer, just buying something for yourself. But if you're a freelancer, a business, or even someone who needs to prove expenses later on, that Scontrino might be useless. Let's say you're an expat consultant living in Florence. You meet a client for lunch and you pay 50. You get a Scontrino and you think you can deduct it on your taxes. But your accountant says, no fattura, no deduction. And just like that, you're out of 50. The fattura is an invoice. It's not just a receipt, it's a tax document. It includes all the details like your name, your codice fiscale, your VAT number, your partita IVA, your seller's tax info, a breakdown of the VAT applied, all the rates, and the magical phrase imponibile plus IVA, total. Let's say you're a graphic designer from the US, now based in Milan. You buy a new MacBook, okay? I don't get any commission fees for that, I'm just naming one. A MacBook for your freelance work, it costs 2,000. You ask for a fattura and you give them your partita IVA. Now, guess what? That invoice becomes a deductible expenses in your Italian tax return. You might save up to 800 on taxes, assuming, 40% marginal tax rate. If you only had gotten a Scontrino, you'd lose that deduction, 800 gone. Now, here's where it gets weird. The Ricevuta Fiscale is the cousin of the Scontrino, but it's handwritten very often or printed by professionals that don't use a cash register. Think of, for example, doctors, dentists, tutors, plumbers, language teachers. Basically, anyone not required to use cash register can use the Ricevuta Fiscale. Let's say you hire a piano teacher in Rome. They charge 40 euros for lesson. If they issue a Ricevuta Fiscale, that's a legally valid tax document. It includes your name, their codice fiscale, or the partita IVA, the service provider, the date, the amount paid, but they'll add the marca da bollo of 2 euros if the total is over 77.47 euros. Yes, Italy is definitely weird, precise like that. So when do you need each one? Let's say you're buying a coffee, you're gonna get a Scontrino, and you're a private individual, that's enough. If you're buying a software for your freelance business, for example, go with the fattura so you can deduct it. Scontrino will not serve the scope. If you're paying a tutor or a doctor, ask for the Ricevuta Fiscale. They don't use a cash register, but it's still tax valid. If you're booking our Airbnb, for example, for work, go with the fattura. You'll need it to register your expenses. Why you should care so much? Well, because of the Italian tax office doesn't play games. They don't care if you're just an expat. They care if your documents are legally valid for deductions, period. We've seen cases where foreign entrepreneurs in Italy were audited and lost thousands of deductions simply because they accepted Scontrini instead of asking a proper fattura. So here's a real case of one of our clients, of course, fake name. Emily, a British interior designer living in Florence, and she spent around 10,000 furnishing her new studio. Everything from lighting to art to paint. She paid cash. She got Scontrini, no fatture, okay? When she filed her taxes, her deductions were denied. She lost almost 4,400 in tax savings. Why? Because the Scontrino didn't include her tax ID. And that means it didn't legally prove the expenses belong to her business. There's no connection. Let's say you're a shop and you want to be sure you get the right document. hit the script. Mi può fare una fattura, per favore? Or you might say, if they ask, ha la partita IVA? Say yes, give it to them. And if you don't have the partita IVA, but you still need the document or your name, just say, è possibile intestare la fattura al mio codice fiscale? Simple, clean, clear. Don't just accept what they give it to you. Ask for what protects you, because in Italy, paper matters more than the purchase. And as we like to say, a wrong receipt can cost you. The right one can save a small fortune.
At Studio Rigo, we provide world-class tax and financial guidance for expats and international professionals in Italy. We don't just help you stay compliant. We craft strategic tax solutions tailored to high-level individuals who demand precision and expertise. If you are serious about optimizing your tax position, visit our website or connect with us on social media. We work with those who value excellence, and we look forward to assisting you. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.